2 years ago, I joined a club, and within about 8 months, I became webmaster of the club. And 4 weeks ago, I was nominated to become president of the Gold Coast British Sports Car Club. And they put it in the new minutes for Monday's meeting that they already have me as president. So I'm kind of enjoying it because we're having our elections next Friday at 6:30 at La Cordon Bleu Culinary Institute. So I'm going to enjoy this kind of situation next week, and then I will get to take over for the rest of the dinner as the new club president. So congratulations to all you officers. I did this once before, and I basically brought back some of the same tools, but there are a couple that I would like to start with that I discussed last time that I discovered I was wrong. Okay? One of the ones I brought with me, I said it wouldn't hurt to have some kind of reversible small drill driver. Well, I got a job and I took the little drill driver and it wouldn't do the job. So I'm suggesting when and if you can afford it, because we were doing a cabling job and doing a complete Ethernet cable job, get yourself something heavy duty. This is a driver, a drill, and a concrete hammer drill. We were doing an Ethernet cabling and we had to put in a switch and junction box, and it had to be bolted to a concrete CBS block wall. I had to have something with a capability of drilling into hardened concrete to mount that structure to mount the switch into. So I went out real quickly and found this. And it's pretty powerful. So when you can afford it, if you go into the area that I've gone into where you end up doing cabling and you're in a bare building mounting the switching box into an IT room, you need this kind of piece of equipment someday. So, you know, consider it for a future purchase. I never thought I would need one. I really didn't. Till the job came up and I discovered, well, I better buy one. Also, because I bought the Milwaukee, you can see I bought some pretty heavy hammer drill bits to go with it. All total, I have about a $200 investment just in this. And the nice part is that it did come with a second battery. The batteries are expensive, as I discovered to my shame. So that's the one tool that I brought that I did not have last time that I never thought I would need. And I do recommend it because you will find it very handy. I also grabbed a whole different set of bits and drivers to go with both of them. They're universal. This has 1-inch screwdriver bits, 2-inch screwdriver bits, nut drivers, every kind of imaginable Torx bit, Phillips bit, flat bit, diamond bit you could imagine. These were about $19.99 at Home Depot on sale at Christmas time. Good thing to have. And I like the fact that with the 2-inch you can get into areas with your drill that you couldn't get into otherwise. And I also have an extension for it that will extend it another 2 inches. So you can really get into those tight spaces where you can't get a finger. I'm not sure if I brought it or not. I also have, again, for those tight spaces, a magnetic screwdriver. Don't get it around your computers, obviously. But the thing I like is, like when I was working on this junction box, I dropped one of the screws. And trying to find it was going to be a nightmare. So I just reached in with the magnetic screwdriver and bingo, grabbed it. I have your typical anti-static pad and wrist strap. And I like the pad because it gives you double protection. And it also features, you've probably seen them in some of the places where they have the mats that are grounded at the floor. This has that option also. It snaps off and on. I lay my computer on top of this. Wrist strap goes on, watch goes off, and this gets clipped to the metal part of the case, or any good ground. Okay, I've grounded it to my workbench too. I have a grounded workbench.
Does that cause a big problem, the static, when you're working on it?
It's more of a problem in the winter, and I run into a lot where I'm working in carpeted offices during the winter. Okay, they tell you don't have to worry about static electricity in Florida, but in a lot of offices where I've worked supporting networks, I am finding that it actually is, in fact, can be a problem, especially during the winter.
What kind of problems would it cause?
I zapped a hard drive once enough to erase the boot sector. Yeah, but on occasion you don't realize it, and you will build up enough static in some of these offices that you can get quite a discharge. I've gotten zapped once hard enough to set my shirt on fire.
Really?
Ever since then, if I'm inside anything, I'm on a ground strap anymore. Okay, it's just it's a safety thing. And where I now work, it's a requirement. And if I don't put that ground strap on and I damage anything in a customer's computer, I'm personally responsible for it. And I also, under OSHA, have no coverage for workers' comp or their insurance. And it's a safety that some companies actually require. More common up north, but I'm just telling you, it's a cheap investment in a ground strap. Okay? The other thing that I do, and I recommend, now we were talking about the Repairman's bag. Well, I have now 3 bags in a box. Okay? And I didn't bring everything with me. One thing I always carry, compressed air. Anytime I'm inside a computer, the first thing I do is take everything loose and blow it out. Take it outside and blow it out. Very commonly, I see power supplies out. That's a perfect time when you're doing a power supply to blow the inside out for a customer. Or when doing memory chips. One of the things that I don't carry that I recommend every technician get a set of is the various architecture memory chips. I'm going to kind of combine two. I ran into one the other day that we were getting all kinds of random issues with it booting and then failing and shutting down, booting, failing, and shutting down. And one of my co-techs said, "Did you pull the memory chips?" And I said, "No, that shouldn't affect it. The memory passed the test." "No, pull the memory chips." He had a pair that matched that one, so we put them in, and it ran fine. So we put one in, it started doing it again. We put the other in, it was good. So he had one failed bank of memory chips. So we sold him a memory chip upgrade, but I had not run into that. And I now remember reading that that is a suggested, even though we ran the memory diagnostics on the computer and it passed fine. Apparently the chips were heating up and they'd reach a certain temperature and the chips would fail and the machine would shut down. I also carry a graphics card and I carry a network card with me. I got a call that the unit would not connect to the office network, but it would connect to the internet. Well, I finally figured out the employee had decided they didn't want to use the office internet. They were using the free Wi-Fi provided by the company and had gone out and bought a Wi-Fi adapter. So they could get on the internet, but they couldn't get on the company network into the company server. Well, the company now has a policy that employees can't do that, but that's how I figured it out, that they actually had a failed network card, because when I talked to the employee, "Oh no, I'm on the internet, everything's fine, I just can't connect to the network." He didn't tell me he'd done a bypass to use the free Wi-Fi. Another thing I carry in cleaning, Endust for electronics. The only thing you can't use it on is the LCD screen. And what? What would you recommend for the LCD screen? Just a cloth. That's all I use anymore. You can buy special cleaners. But they're not worth it. They really aren't. If you really need to wipe down a really nasty screen, I don't have any with me. Normally I have one with me or two with me. I buy Bosch & Lomb eyeglass lens wipes. Okay, they're pre-moistened. What? Be very careful with the old plastic screens. The screens that had that plastic covering over them. Yeah, for the original early LCDs that you'll run into every now and then, had a plastic protective cover over the actual screen, clear plastic. It starts to yellow, and that stuff is really hard on that plastic. I recommend isopropyl alcohol in that case, and just put it on a cloth. You know, that's the whole point of the lens wipes. It's already pre-moistened. You can't get too much on and get it running down, but it will clean it. Best example I have of that is I had a customer with a TouchSmart, and they complained that the TouchSmart had broken. You could touch the screen and it wouldn't work anymore. So they brought it in, and I'm looking at it and thinking, what the heck? Can I touch it? And it's like cotton candy coming off. So I went and got 2 lens wipes, and I started wiping it down, and it's coming off kind of a brown color and real sticky. So I looked at the lady and said, who was the last users? Well, the kids were at the kitchen table and decided to go into the computer room with their breakfast and play games. Well, they were eating French toast with maple syrup and glazed donuts, and that was what was all over the screen. And it was preventing the TouchSmart from recognizing a finger. Truth. So I looked at her and said, might not be a good idea to let the kids have breakfast with your touch screen anymore. So I haven't seen it back. Yeah.
What would you recommend for surface scratches for like LED displays, the newer types? How would you remove like a surface scratch? Not as such as a deep one, but something.
I would get Novus plastic polish.
Which one?
Novus plastic polish. It's used for polishing plastic and acrylic surfaces. It's most commonly used in the boating and motorcycle and car industries.
So that won't damage the display?
Won't damage the display, but get the fine. The other option would be to try jeweler's rouge. Okay, that can be a little expensive, but it's a very, very fine paste grit. What? Yeah, you can try that, but in some of these you really need something that's a little finer. And that's the whole point of going to something like an acrylic or plexiglass scratch remover.